This is Dan with ElkShape. So today we're going to talk about archery release from John Dudley, Knock On TV. This is the backstrap. Just got it. Gonna open it up, get acquainted with it. Then we're gonna go outside. So we'll set it up, go outside and shoot arrows with it. So tell you what we think. It's tough to do. I wouldn't call this a review because I feel like you would need a lot of time with it to give it a real thorough review. So I'm just gonna shoot you straight and tell you what I think. These are like initial thoughts, early on impressions.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Won't quit, I'm here to stay. Yeah.
First thing I'm gonna talk about is the most common message I get on YouTube and Instagram combined is anytime I have a different release on, it's, well, what release do you shoot? People just freak out because I mix up releases all the time. I have killed most animals archery with a Scott XT that I got years ago. It's a single hook. I think I have like 3 of these because, and this is my primary one because you know, you always have a backup one and then maybe a backup. So if I were to hunt with the backstrap from Knock On this year, I would be ordering a second one. I would want 2 releases. But the way I've always shot this is I've always anchored in, depress that shoulder down, wrap over, and then from there just slowly pull and just bring that, and I try to keep a higher elbow with that setup, and that's what I've done. Let's get into the backstrap. So it looks like this is made by Carter Releases, which is exciting. I figured it was, but it does say Carter Enterprises on the back. I know Forrest Carter, he's a good dude, and they continue, that whole family, that family name is synonymous with really good quality products. So here it is. Looks like to get it loosened, I think you just lift up and that unsnapped it. It's set up for right-handed right out the gates. If you wanted to make this left-handed, you would probably just loosen those 2 Allens, pull this whole cord out and flip it. There's your left-handed. So I shoot a little bit left-handed because I'm left eye dominant, but I primarily hunt right-handed because I just feel way more comfortable with that. This has got a great strap as far as just the way it feels immediately. And let's get it, push it down, and let's buckle it in. I want it to be kind of loose, but not too tight. That sweet spot where I can kind of just pull, like I feel like I can pull my hand through the strap, but not really. Next thing I want to do is probably compare. So I think I'm gonna have to probably shorten it up for what everything's set up on. And then as far as the tension and stuff like that goes, I believe you have, yeah, you're gonna have a set screw right here, and I'll get you a macro view. You got a set screw right there, and it doesn't take much because it's a Carter. I know Carter's inside out, so you just crack the set screw and then right here adjust and probably increase the tension by turning clockwise and decrease the tension by going counterclockwise. But let's go ahead and just jump right into it. I don't know what it comes set as. First thing I did is I shortened this up. If I like this, I'll cut and burn this off. So I'm running this pretty short. I will tell you right now, this is an awesome system as far as just the comfort, the feel, the vibe. This is great. The BOA system, I'm gonna push this in and then tighten to my liking. I'm gonna keep it real, like I always do though. On this Scott XT, there's one hole out of several, but there's only one hole that I put this buckle in, so it's always right there. It's a leather strap, it's the same every time. I'm wondering, repeatability wise, if, I mean, and maybe that's part of the design is to be able to, like, if you're wearing different clothing, but I'd like this to be the exact same set, and I'm gonna tinker with that and see if I can figure out the exact click to have it on every time to repeat. So this thing's got a safety that you're gonna pull past, and I don't know if it clicks or not, like a clicker, we'll find out. So I believe John said on the phone that it comes out of the box at 20 pounds and we can make it go up from there. Obviously, I have this last chance tool. I'll go ahead and check my V3 and see what the holding weight is. I'm guessing 14 pounds-ish. And so I would wanna be plus 4 or 5 pounds past that. So 18, 19 pounds of pressure. There we go. So hands behind the trigger, anchor. Go to John's channel, watch his stuff. He's used to be professional or is a professional archer, and he's a professional archery coach. I'm not. And by the way, to get this, you just pull the trigger, clicks back in. This is not, I'm not your resource. I'm not your coach. Stay in your lane. If you want to know about killing elk and being fit and nutrition, that's me. But I'm a student of archery. But one thing that I know for sure is that like inverted handhelds, this is not going to be inverted. This is going to be knuckle against here and you're there. I like that. And I'm trying to pull my hand through the strap. So we're kind of relaxed and just pull. So I'm using those lower traps, rhomboid, major, minor type muscles. So, all right, so some of you guys, especially you knock on people, you're probably shooting this or the silverback and you want to try this out. Some of you are going to be like frustrated because it's going to change your, you need to change something on your setup. Like you're either going to have to move your peep up a little bit for this guy or shorten your D loop up. I'll tell you this is just from my own personal experience because I am a guy who changes releases all the time. Some of my setups, I actually have to move the peep. So for this year's V3, it's 27 inches axle to axle. Think about that string angle. I set it up with this guy, the Too Simple. And then when I started switching back, I actually had to put, move the peep up and retie it. Whereas the VXR and the Vertex, I could literally shoot this release and this release and this release and this release. It didn't matter what release. I didn't notice any impact changes. I didn't need to move my peep. So every rig's a little different. Just know that and tinker, figure it out. So we'll find out, but I imagine this will probably keep things very similar. So the next step for me is I'm gonna go ahead and find out what my poundage, my holding weight on my bow is. We'll do that next. And then we're gonna go out and shoot. And we gotta make sure that we don't have this poundage too much or too little, right in the sweet spot, so that, I want this to still feel like a handheld where I don't know when it's gonna go off and I'm pulling through the entire process. Some of you are gonna want the back strap to feel just like your normal single hook, where you can send it when you need to send it and you can just basically adjust the spring to feel just like that. Or you can crank it way up and really have to pull through the shot, which I would definitely prefer. And this would be my opinion and no one else's. I think early on in the off season, you should have that spring cranked down pretty good where you really have to pull. And as you get closer and closer to season, you might want to make it a touch lighter. I usually do that and make my systems to where I take a little bit off all my springs for handhelds right before season. So just a little more hair, just a little, not much. So that's what's up. Again, to adjust it, it's super easy. It's just a set screw on the back side, and then you basically go counterclockwise to loosen, clockwise to tighten the spring and make it harder. To adjust for left or right, you just take the strap out and flip it over. I just adjusted the length on mine, made it pretty much shorter. You can see where it's hitting on here. I don't know what John recommends, but we're gonna try this. We can always kick it out further before I cut and burn. And then the boa system, you can tighten it way up. And then to get it loose, you pull up and it's loose. Good job, John Dudley, Knock On TV, Carter Enterprises. This is cool stuff. If I end up loving this thing, I'm gonna buy at least one more as my backup. And then I'll make it match this to the T, and that will stay in my hunting pack at all times. All right, let's go test the poundage of the rig, and then let's go fling some arrows. All right, guys, so let's see what kind of holding weight we got on this V3. This is from Last Chance. This is the HS3. You notice I always put an arrow in when I test this stuff because you just never know. Okay, I'm gonna test that one more time. Okay, so I tested it twice. It says my peak weight both times was 74.8 pounds. And the first time it said my holding weight was 10.9. And now it says that it's 11.2 pounds on the HS3. So 11.2 holding. So I would need the tension on this to be at 15 minimum. Now it's time to go shoot this rig and do some tinkering. Okay, today's the day. Let's shoot some arrows. That was awesome. That was a good vibe. It's a little different than my Scott XT for sure. The trigger is a lot further from the sear, but it feels really good, guys. I went to shoot this bow last night after filming, got outside, it was dark. So here we are in the morning, it's crisp. I'm digging it. I like how much pressure or how much pulling I have it. I kind of got lucky. I think I set it at a pretty good clip. You know, it's not as triggery or hair as my Scott XT, but it's definitely not like I'm pulling forever. It's kind of in the sweet spot. It's great for training. I mean, you really, there's no punching. All right, guys, first group, the Nock On backstrap. Super stoked. This is awesome. Looking at that target, it looks like I'm trending slightly left with this, and that's to be expected. You might, you know, it's not gonna duplicate. Every release is not always gonna duplicate the prior release, so, but that's a tiny little tweak. That would show up more further distance for sure, but like none of those arrows are in the middle of that orange circle that I was trying to hit. They're just all grouped into the left, so that would show up big time at 60 yards, probably a couple of inches. So it looks like I like some windage adjustment, and it looks like I'm gonna buy another one of these and have it as a backup. This is a great training tool, and I hope you guys dig it. I love archery. I appreciate Dudley for what he does, and I appreciate you guys for checking out the channel. We'll catch you on the next one. Make sure to subscribe if you guys are into this blue collar channel of hardworking elk hunters. Thanks, guys.